Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to study about the range function. So currently we are in the fourth unit actually of the documentation, which is about more control flow tools. In the last lecture, I have already discussed about if statements and for statements. In this lecture, we will study the range functions, and in the upcoming lectures, we will study about the rest of the units. All right. So let us start. So in the last lecture, I have already discussed the for loop, right? And there I have shown that using for loop, we can iterate over sequences, right? So I took the example of list. I took the example of strings. So all these are sequence, right? And on that, we can iterate through the for loop, okay? So the programs were something similar to this, like this example is there. So here one list is there, and in this list we can iterate using this for loop by writing it this way, right? All right. Now the thing is that if you do need to iterate over a sequence of numbers, the built-in function range comes in handy, okay? So that means, let us say you want to run a for loop from 1 to 10, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, you want to run. In that case, what can be done? So definitely one way is like whatever we have studied till yesterday, right? Till the last video. In that case, what can we do? We can take a list, right? In that list, we can keep all the numbers from 1 to 10, and then we can start a for loop for iterating over that particular list, and then it will print all the numbers, right? So, but that is a lengthy process, and we are having one easier way of doing it, okay? And the easier way is of using this range function. So, in this range function, what we can do, we can directly write for I in range. Earlier here only we used to write the sequence, right? List or string. But if any sequence is not there, you can directly mention here the range function, okay? So for I in range, if you write until 5, if you're writing, that means it will always start from 0. So 0 is the default starting point, okay? And till where it will end? It will end till -1. Like here 5 is there, so before that, which is 5 minus 1, 4, till there it will end, okay? So those are the numbers which will get generated automatically. So you don't have to create a list and write all the numbers explicitly by yourself and then iterate over that. Automatically the numbers will be generated, and then you can print them or you can add them, or whatever is your requirement, you can do that particular action, okay? So here that is what is written, that the given endpoint is never part of the generated sequence, okay? So if you're writing range of 10, it means basically that 10 values will be generated, which is from 0 to 9, okay? Generates 10 values. The legal indices for items of a sequence of length 10, okay? So what it will generate? It will generate the legal indices which we have for the sequences, right? If any list you're taking having 10 elements, then the indices will be from 0 to 9, right? So that is why in range also, that is how the numbers get generated, okay? So it is possible to let the range start at another number. So definitely it is not the limitation that you have to start from 0 only, because by default that is the starting point, but you can change it by writing the parameters, okay? So if you're writing the parameter, like here 5 is written, so this will be set as the starting point, okay? Or to specify a different increment. So by default, again, increment is also by 1, right? Like here 5 is written, so that means you start from 0, and then by incrementing by 1, you keep on counting and print, right? So 0, 1, 2 like this. But otherwise, if you like want to increment by 2 steps or 3 steps or 10 steps, you can mention that step also. So how to do that? For that, here all the examples are given. Like so here actually what they are doing, they are generating. Now you see that, let us say if you want to make a list, okay? In that list you want to store from 1 to 100 all these numbers, 1 2 3 4 like this till 100 you want to store. Now definitely if you start typing it by yourself, right, 1 comma 2 comma 3, then that is a very lengthy process, right? Very hectic task. So actually that is not required. You can directly write range inside the the list, okay? So inside list, this is the parameter which is of range. So in this range, whatever like elements will be there, whatever will be generated, that itself will become like a list. So that is how very easily you can make a list which is which is going to have a proper sequence. Okay, so like here from 5 to 10 is written, that means the starting point is 5, so that is why 5, then 6, 7, 8, and then till 9, because last element is excluded. Okay, and since here any step we have not mentioned, so by default by 1 it will increment. Okay, but in the next example you see here 0 is the starting point. Okay, and 10 is the last point which will not be included, and then this is the step. The last parameter is the step value actually. So here 3 means by 3 I want to increment, so that is why after 0 it is directly 3, then 3 plus 3 6, and then till 9. Okay, because after that we cannot exceed 10. Okay, all right, you can have negatives also, like here range is there, so from minus 10 to minus 100 you want to generate the sequence. Okay, and the step value is minus 30, so by minus 30 it will keep on decreasing. Okay, so that is why the from minus 10 it has become minus 40, then minus 70, like this. Okay, so this is how you can do it. To iterate over the indices of a sequence, you can combine range and length as follows. Okay, so here what is happening, one list has been taken like this. Okay, now maybe you want to print the indices also. Okay, like Mary is there, so Mary index is what, 0, right? So you want to print the index also, and along with that element also. If that requirement is there, then what you have to do, only if you directly write for I in A, then I will point to the elements, but how you will get the indexes, that is not possible, right? So that is why for that case you have to use range. Okay, so if you're writing here range and then length of A is what, the number of elements, which is 5 right now. Okay, so range, that means it here actually 5 is there, so 5 means it will go till 4 only. So 0 to 4 the indices are generated using range function, and after that you can come here and print the element and the the indices also. Okay, so this is how you can do it. Now some extra informations are there, so let us first of all till here see practically also whatever we discussed, and after that we can continue with rest of the part. Okay, so we will go to the terminal now, and so we will start the interpreter first. Okay, so after this right, okay, so now we will start the for loop. Directly we can see in the for loop only. So for, then I in range you have to write here, in place of I any valid identifier name can be there. So for I in range, let us say if I write here 10. Okay, and then what to do here, inside for nothing, let us just print it. Okay, so print I, and since actually it will print in different lines, so let me just end it with some comma. It will be better because the entire output will come in the same line only. Okay, so as you can see the next primary prompt is appearing here itself, so that is okay, but otherwise you see the sequences has got generated from 0 to 9. Okay, because 0 is the default, until 10 we have given, so till 9 it will print excluding 10, and by one step it has incremented. Okay, after that, so I can come to the next line like this, and then after that for I in range, let us say now both the values I am giving, that is the starting point and the ending point. So let us say from 2 I want to start, and I want to go till 16 maybe. Okay, so 16 basically means here till 15 only it will print the numbers. Okay, and same thing I can do, print I and then end with comma. Okay, so after that you see the numbers are printed, that is 2 starting from 2 till 5. Okay, 15. Okay, all right, after that let us include all the things, that is steps also. So for, let us say here some other name also for num. Okay, in range, like this also you can write, and after that all the three parameters let us give. Let us say I want to start from 5, and then I want to go till 100, let us say, and increment by 10. Okay, so like this if I do, and here I print the values, that is I and is equal to, you can give some other kind of symbol also if you want, but comma looks better. So after that, the numbers. Okay, what happened actually, because here by mistakenly I have written I, so it is printing I actually. So that is wrong, because I value is 15, right? The before whatever code was there for I in range, right? When this got executed, then the final value I is containing is 15. That was the last number generated. So that is why that value only it printed so many times. Okay, so this was actually I changed the name, so I had to write here num, right? So let us do it again, no problem. So for I in range, what you have to write, 5 comma 100 comma 10. Okay, and after that come here and print num. This was the mistake I did. So end equal to, then comma, and then this. So now you see, since 10 steps are there, right? So after 5, if you count 10 steps, then you will reach 15, then 25, then 35, 45, 55. So like this the numbers are printed. So you can write here negatives also, and it will work in the same way. Okay, so that is the task I'm giving to you. You try it by yourself. Okay, after that, as we were seeing, list we can generate, right? So we can have list like this, list of range, okay, let us say till 8, right? After that, so the list is printed, right? So directly if I want to create a list which is having this numbers, okay, let us say, so here I have not taken any variable, so now let us take a variable, and in that let us store the list. Okay, so here you don't have to explicitly write all the elements, automatically the list will be filled with the sequence. Okay, that is the benefit actually. So till 10 if I write, so the list has been prepared, and after that if you print, then this is the list you're getting. Now on this list you can append something, and all the actions you can perform on this particular list. So this is the benefit of the range function. So I hope till here it is clear. Now let us go back to the document and see what next is written. So these things we have discussed. After that, this example you can try by yourself, that how they are printing the length. And now here, next what they have discussed is, in most such cases, however, it is convenient to use enumerate. That means for this case, okay, here whatever we are doing, that index is getting printed first, then the element. So this actually in a better way we can do it by using the enumerate function, which you can see under this link, which is of looping techniques. I will not get into that right now. We will study that later when that particular topic comes, okay? But if you're interested, you can go and visit it. After that, now a strange thing happens if you just print a range. So only directly if you're writing a range, because till now this range function we were writing either in for, or we have written inside list function, right? So that we have done. But directly if you write range of 10 like this, then this is the output which you will get. Okay, so it will not print the numbers, it will just print like this, that range has started from 0 and it is going till 10. Okay, so in many ways the object returned by range behaves as if it is a list, but in fact it isn't, right? So till now whatever we discussed here, like this one, right, that here range is given from 5 to 10, so it is generating the sequence and the list is printed. So don't think that range is a list only. It is not a list. Actually the sequence of numbers are generated and they are put into the list, so then list is getting prepared. Okay, so it is not that range itself is a list. That is not the case, and that is what is mentioned here. Okay, so behaves as if it is a list, but in fact it isn't. So this you remember, and these are the things which you can very clearly understand if you read the documentation. Otherwise sometimes you remain in some illusion only, that maybe it is this or maybe it is working like this, but when you read the documentation you actually get the clarification that exactly what it is, right? So that is the benefit. Okay, so it is an object. So range is what? Basically it is an object which returns the successive items of the desired sequence. Clear? So it is an object which returns the successive items when you iterate over it, but it doesn't really make the list, thus saving space. Okay, so this you have to remember very nicely, that range does not make a list. Okay, if you're putting it inside list function, then that is a different case, but otherwise range function itself is not a list. Okay, now we say such an object is iterable. Okay, so whatever, like this object, it is an object, right? So such kind of objects are iterable. okay, if we can iterate over all the sequences which has got generated, okay. So that is suitable as a target for functions and constructs that expect something from which they can obtain successive items until the supply is exhausted, okay. So such kind of objects we say iterable. If we can loop over that, we can, you know, write some such kind of constructs where one by one automatically the elements will come and we can do some action on that. So if that is happening by an object, we say that the object is iterable, okay. So we have seen that the for statement is such a construct, right? Because in for what happens, it expects one by one element and it goes to each element and performs the action. So that is iterable. While an example of a function that takes an iterable is sum. So sum is one kind of iterable, okay. So it works on such kind of things. So directly if you're writing sum of range 4 like this, if you write, then what happens, it is taking your iterable object, okay, because that means one by one it will take the elements generated in the sequence and it will perform the action. So here the action is of adding the numbers. So 0 to 3 the numbers will be generated and added, and finally answer you will get as 6, okay. So this is how you can use it. So later we will see more functions that return iterables and take iterables as arguments. So about these things in later more documentations are written. So about that we will study in the chapter of data structures. We will discuss more detail about list also, okay. Here whatever that list function we used, about that also any such detailed discussion we have not seen till now. So we will see in the later lectures, okay. So I'm ending the lecture here. Thank you.